Thank you so much. Hey, everybody, I'm Felicia. I'm Binti's co-founder and CEO. And we focus on rewiring government to make it more effective to expand opportunity for people, starting in child welfare and moving to other social services in the future. So, taking a step back, why I decided to start this company, my sister was my inspiration. So, she adopted two children, and it was just a really difficult, complicated, stressful process. And I ended up doing research, and I learned that there's over 400,000 children in foster care in the US. And the statistics on what happened to them are really sad. So 50% of foster youth will be homeless at some point in their life. The majority of sexually trafficked youth are current or former foster youth. And 25% of prison inmates are former youth, foster youth. And actually 50% of foster youth will have experience with the criminal justice system by the time they're 17. So it's clear that children growing up in child welfare don't have a fair chance at life. Did it make sense why it would be so hard to become a family like my sister did? So I started digging into it, and I spent 4 months shadowing the County of San Francisco's child welfare team. And what I learned was social workers and families were really bogged down by inefficient manual processes. So families were applying all on paper, and they would submit paperwork, it would get lost. Social workers were using a 70-column Excel spreadsheet shared across dozens of social workers. Families would fall through the cracks, it would cause delays, it would cause families to drop out. And this is one team in child welfare. There's actually 7 different teams in child welfare doing really important work. So there's a team approving families like I'm talking about here, but there's a team that's working with families that are struggling to get services to stay with their kids or reunify with their kids or try to find relatives who can take in the children. And each of them are doing really important things and all have some version of a really manual process like this. So at first, when I saw this, I was like, okay, well, maybe there's no software in child welfare yet. Maybe there's no budget for software. As Marielle talked about, there's a lot of budget actually for government software. Actually, government spends billions of dollars per year on child welfare software. California alone spends 94 million a year maintaining a 20-year-old child welfare system. This is a screenshot of it. It's the bane of every social worker's existence in California. And they're all custom built software projects. So it's like companies that charge $100 million to build a custom built solution in each state. And they're very much focused on like compliance and tracking data as opposed to really improving outcomes for children. And so what we do that's different is we really, spend time shadowing and interviewing youth and families and social workers and digging into what are the problems that are preventing more children from having families, and then how can we build software to solve those problems? And then obviously we'll also track, data for reporting and things like that, but that's not like the bar we're shooting for. And so we really focus on outcomes for children and saving social worker time. As an example, I mentioned there's 7 different teams in child welfare, but the first team we started with is the team that approves families to foster and adopt. There's a huge shortage of them nationwide and actually globally. And what we built is sort of like TurboTax to be a foster adopted family. You can apply online on your phone, get through the process really easily. And then for the social workers, it's a dashboard that replaces that 70-column Excel spreadsheet where they can easily track the families going through the process. They can run background checks on them. They can do their social work on their mobile phone out in the field. And supervisors can have better data to manage the teams. The other unique thing about us, in addition to focusing on outcomes as opposed to just compliance, is we're the pioneer for software as a service. So I mentioned that every system to date in child welfare are custom built projects that take 5 years to build, and they're all custom built for each state. We've really studied what's the same and what's different across states, and then we've built it in a way that everyone can use the same software, and then we just quickly configure what's different when we launch. So we launch in 12 weeks instead of 5 years. All the other benefits of software as a service. The more agencies on our platform, the more engineers we can afford, the better the software gets. So this has really taken off. We launched 5.5 years ago. We're in over 200 agencies in 31 states. We serve about 24% of the country with our first product, including 5 states statewide, and we're actually about to be 14 states in the next 12 months with the contracts we're about to sign. We've had really measurable results. We help approve 80% more families a year, 16% faster. We've approved 40,000 families. Ultimately, as I mentioned, we're building across those 7 workflows. We're actually 2.5 into the 7. And there's a clear path to us being the gold standard for child welfare software. We're also looking to expand internationally next year, really similar processes and challenges across Europe, Canada, Australia. And long term, we want to expand into other verticals beyond child welfare that also struggle with really manual processes aligned with our mission of expanding opportunity. We're about 85 people now. We're post-Series B. We raised our Series B about 12 months ago. We're growing to 150 people in the next 12 months. We're hiring across the board, including product and design, as well as customer success and project managers. Our culture, we're very values-driven. We focus on being really high empathy and high performance. We believe it's possible to be both. So thank you. Thanks for learning about Binti, and feel free to come chat with me or email me. Thanks so much.